Now, how's your week been going, man?
It's good.
That's one thing I do like about having the podcast on Sunday is we catch up on the week. There's no run in between. All right. Hey, welcome to this week's episode 11 of the Film Planet podcast. I'm your host, Nadal.
Jamal.
And today we're going to be breaking down just a couple things, talking about some new trailers that dropped during the Super Bowl and some of the stuff that fell after the fact. And then we're going to get straight into our thoughts on the Cloverfield Paradox movie that dropped on Netflix. And then kind of piggyback off of that, discuss some of the industry changes as a result of Netflix purchasing the rights to the movie and things like that. Because there's a lot of, not necessarily moving parts, but a lot of interesting tidbits in there that could lead to other things happening down the road. So we'll get the small stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the trailers. We'll start with Mission Impossible. I mean, what didn't you expect from that trailer? Because I think we're gonna get an action-paced, fun little spy film, right? And that's pretty much what the trailer is giving us.
It's Mission Impossible.
It's Mission Impossible. Yeah, I mean, it's a film franchise that went away for a little bit, then all of a sudden came back, and then some of the movies were not so sure, but now it's just like you might get one every other year now.
Yeah, you really watch those movies to see if Tom Cruise can top his next stunt.
Exactly, yeah. Which the trailer suggested he tops it 2 or 3 times in this movie alone.
Right.
And then it's
midlife crisis.
that Scientology money. No, I'm joking. But I'm excited for it. I think it single-handedly has put James Bond on notice. It's making those movies, I feel like people are now expecting a little something different other than that clean-cut, exposition-filled type of spy movie, which James Bond is very well known for.
Well, I think this version of James Bond, because you had different versions of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, but it's obviously James Bond has positioned themselves, they can recast and change the whole feel of the franchise in a film. But I'm just saying,
it's Daniel Craig. I mean, he started off good, but it's dull.
It got I think I was probably out of our movie group, I was the most excited for that last James Bond movie, and
I've never been a fan of the James Bond character.
Yeah,
I know that's a unpopular opinion, but I haven't.
Yeah, but it's. I think Mission Impossible is going to be fun. Tom Cruise is really good in it. Vince Rames, Simon Pegg. It sounds like they're bringing back a lot of people. Plus, even if you're not a big Mission Impossible fan and you were like, let's say a DC fan, for example, this is the Beardgate scandal as to why Henry Cavill
Gate.
Or yeah, Beardgate, sorry, not mustache, you're right. But that's a lot of the reason why his face looked like wax in the Justice League movie. So we'll see what that's all about. It's probably not the biggest deal as we're trying to make it out to be, but it's just funny in general that they fought over a mustache. But if you haven't checked it out, it's on YouTube. Check it out. Nice little song to it. Trailer. It's fun. It'll make you want to go see the movie. Next up is we had the Han Solo, and I'll kind of let you take away because that was on your top 10, and that was something that
was my number one.
You're a Star Wars guy, yeah.
It's not number one. It's being a Star Wars guy. It's still more to be seen, but from what I like, the guy who's playing Han Solo, he has I always pronounce his name wrong, but I know his name.
Yeah.
But he has the mannerisms down packed of Han Solo, and it looks cool. I have to see more about the story and things. Yeah. Everybody's going crazy about Lando. Oh, we need a Lando movie. I'm like, they didn't show nothing with. The trailer didn't show nothing. He looks cool as Lando, but everybody like, we need a Lando movie now. Yeah. Han Solo. I'm like, y'all are so trendy. Y'all are so trendy. Just because Donald Glover is the hot topic doesn't mean.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him as Lando. I really am.
And I don't even think he was going to do a Lando movie by himself.
Stop.
I don't think, because I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not by any means some of the diehard fans like you, for example. If you watch the original trilogy, yeah, Lando's in it, but a lot of the cool part about Lando was why does Han hate him? Why does Han trust him? Etc. Things like that. it was the mystery behind Lando that made Lando attractive.
And it's the connection to Han.
That's what I'm saying. That, I mean, without that, who is Lando? Like, if you do a movie and you eliminate Han from this original trilogy, Lando is kind of just there.
Celebrity worship for getting ridiculous. But anyways, I did like the trailer. It got me excited for the movie. It did what it's supposed to do, but I need to see more to see how I really before see I'm even going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. It looks fun, action packed, and I mean, I think the rumor is supposed to be like a heist movie, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then the last one was...
two more.
Two more? Yeah, we had the teaser trailer for Venom that dropped, 3-4 days ago. People were kind of upset that it didn't show Venom. I was like, well, it was a teaser trailer for a reason. And it's a teaser just to get you, like, here's some footage. This movie is now real. It looked interesting. Tom Hardy is an amazing actor. So I'm interested to see how he plays this.
I didn't think it looked interesting. I was actually disappointed in it.
Really?
Not even because they didn't show Venom. I'm like, where is this going? All I just heard him.
What's the plot?
Like,
yeah, whatever. I get you. I can see that. Where is this movie heading?
So
what direction is it going?
Yeah, I didn't expect to see Venom in a teaser trailer. The movie don't come out till October.
Yeah, but
I wanted to at least see a sense of where it is. I mean,
as of right now, there's the trailer showed. Now that I think about it, yeah, the trailer didn't...
I mean, if you like it, you like it, but yeah. I'm just saying.
No, the trailer didn't show anything. I'm personally interested in it because I'm a Tom Hardy fan to begin with. And plus, this would essentially... Because this is going to be part of the MCU, technically, right?
No.
Or Sony's movieverse, whatever they're calling it. Yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Which, that same Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse is the part of the MCU Spider-Man, so...
Right.
Sony intends to use Tom Holland after MCU builds him up to be this big, awesome superhero. And what was the second one? That was the last one?
Deadpool.
2. This one, it kind of focused on Cable on this one. Had the classic little Deadpool feel. At one point in the trailer, they show his arm not CG'd in. He has the green screen sleeve on.
It's saying some subliminals at Justice League.
Yeah. Not even subliminals. He straight up just said mustache.
Yeah.
It's like, but no, it's fun. Breaking the fourth wall. I think a lot of people aren't used to breaking the if you're not a Deadpool or familiar with Deadpool, to my knowledge, he breaks the fourth wall constantly in the comics, correct?
Yep.
He did it in the video games that I played for him. He did it in the first film. He's obviously doing it in the second one. So that's just a staple of that character is to break that fourth wall. And I think a lot of people who aren't used to that, it's refreshing to them, but it's nothing new necessarily.
Cable was in there. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin as Cable. And the coolest part of the trailer for me, if you see the trailer and they're walking towards a helicopter with some other people, that's the X-Force.
Okay.
That's the X-Force. So, yeah. Like, yeah.
I'm excited. I want to go see Deadpool. This one looks like it's going to be, I don't want to use the word more serious, but it's going to have more of a darker tone to it, I guess.
Darker tone.
I don't know how to explain it.
The other one was a Valentine's Day movie. This one just seems like more of an action blockbuster. The other one was kind of a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
With action in it. It was like the Princess Bride kooky comic book. That's what it was. So, yeah.
It was fun. I think if you like the first one, I think you're probably going to like the second one. If you haven't already, check out all these trailers. A lot of stuff in there for you to consume. It's a good little 15 minutes worth of trailers in there. But really, to the bulk of the podcast today is we're gonna start off by reviewing Cloverfield. Just not really reviewing it, just giving our thoughts on it and our take on it. We can
do a review.
Well, yeah, we'll review thoughts. It's almost kind of the same thing at the end of the day. And then we're gonna kind of talk about what Cloverfield actually is in terms of a business standpoint. Of why didn't Paramount feel that they could release it, or not Paramount? Yeah, felt like they could release the movie and they sold the rights over to Netflix for undisclosed amount of money because we don't know the numbers on that. So let's just get right into it.
What you think?
What
about the movie?
Me? Yeah. Ooh. At first, it started off great. Not great. It started off good. It was solid, and then it kind of started ramping up, but it never seemed to go anywhere. Like the movie just felt like it was connecting all the movies together, but it felt forced. It didn't feel natural. The connection didn't feel natural. And then even at certain points, you didn't feel like what they did caused anything on Earth, because they mentioned that they collided with another dimension. It was mentioned in passing on a newscast in the film that this could rip a hole up in time to allow demons and hell to come through, i.e. the monsters. The movie, for me overall, it felt almost, not pointless, it just felt like, it felt redundant. I was like, what's the point of this happening? It wasn't a sci-fi flick. Just because it was in space didn't make it sci-fi. It didn't know what it was. All the other movies, they knew what they were. The first one was like a lost footage monster flick. The second one was a like paranoia, claustrophobia, weirdness, just awkwardness moments between three strong characters. And the third one just didn't have its own voice. It just didn't. It was kind of there, which disappointed me because I was excited. I liked the idea behind movies, franchises. Yes, they're tied together, but each one of it is different, you know? But it's one of those things where it could have been better. It felt lackluster. It didn't feel like a third movie in a franchise. What was your thoughts on it?
That movie was the most disappointing movie I've seen in 5 years. Bro, it didn't make any sense. It was illogical. It did not do anything to further the story. They named the monster Clover. How creative is that? Yeah. Like, I mean, they had the hand from the Addams Family. What? I'm like, what is...
It didn't...
I'm like, dog, like, and then they took elements... Basically, they made a trash version of Event Horizon mixed with Interstellar. And that's what they did.
In a movie called Sunshine. Where they have
that's what they did, man. And they wasted a good cast of like...
really good
not
actors.
Really A-list actors, but they're good actors, you know?
Like real solid actors that...
Bruh.
And they weren't bad in the movie. It's kind of, they did what they could with what they had.
Man.
Like I said, I'm along with it. Like it served no purpose. It was like, why is this even being made? And then it's kind of like, now you kind of see why Paramount might have sold it.
It was trash.
They knew it was trash. And then doing some research.
I'm not gonna say it's trash because some people like that kooky stuff, but it was like
But that's not. I don't think that this is more of it. And I don't want to say facts, but this is more of like, it was poorly executed. It wasn't trash.
They didn't know what it...
It's not trash because it was our opinion. It was trash because the movie itself just wasn't put together well. It didn't. The script wasn't on par.
It wasn't it, man.
Now, I will give you this, and this will be more to what you've made comments before in the past, this was going to be an IMAX film, straight up. Some of the shots in that film, because I watched it here on my monitor on my computer, did not do it justice, some of those shots, because some of the cinematography in it was very well done.
The costume design looked good.
Like it's the shots in general looked really beautiful from the outer space and all that, the Earth, the space station, everything. Had that been on an IMAX screen, I'm not saying it would have made the film better, but it would have been really cool to see.
I could have watched it. I could have tolerated it more.
Yeah,
it was basically a straight to the Sci-Fi Network movie.
Yeah,
with top dollar visual effects,
because it was spent top dollars to make it happen. But like I said, Netflix came out from nowhere, I don't know about nowhere, but they came out, bought it, released a trailer during the Super Bowl, and then at the end of the game released the movie.
Right.
So let's talk. I mean, if you were to give a number, I know we don't really put a lot of stock in numbers, but if you were to give it a 1 out of 10, what would you rate that movie on there?
3.5.
3.5?
Yeah,
I'd give it about a 3.5 as well. And most of that 3 points is because the acting was decent and the cinematography was nice. Outside of that, there's not a lot contributing to that 3.5 there. But let's talk about more of the hot topic. This is what I was really kind of more interested to get into. Is I think once watching the movie, it's clear as to why they sold it. But at the same time, it's not the first time that a movie, a production company was like, well, release it anyway. We'll try to make our money back. You know what I mean? It's people. They're not afraid to release hot crap. They've done it in the past. They've done it before, like Justice League, for example. Rumor came out that the executives knew that it was crap and it was going to flop. They didn't expect it to flop as hard as it did. What do you feel? Obviously, Netflix is making a strong effort to produce its own original content, and I think the Cloverfield purchase was a way for them to do something on a faster timetable, to have something in between what they're probably working on they haven't announced yet. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's more of an industry move in general.
What you talking about? The whole marketing?
No, not marketing. Not marketing. Why did Netflix feel it necessary to purchase this movie when they've probably seen it? They didn't purchase a movie
because they knew it would get a buzz, and they knew it had a strong fan base.
Yeah.
Why not throw it on Netflix and see it stream? A lot of people don't go to the movies, so they might be interested. You show it on the Super Bowl, it comes out of nowhere. People gonna be interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
And it worked. The formula worked. I mean,
well, it was a smart. So, do you think that really contributed to them releasing it the day of the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. It's the biggest sporting event of the year.
Well, not the trailer, but releasing the movie right after the Super Bowl.
It's the biggest sporting event of the year. You say, "Hey, this movie's coming right out after the Super Bowl." People gonna be like, "Dang, it came out of nowhere and you're releasing after the Super Bowl."
Yeah.
And it got people watching it.
That's what I'm saying. But not just that, they have to have seen the movie.
They don't care.
That's what I'm saying. The movie, they have to have watched it and said, "Oh, this isn't good. Let's not wait until April. Let's just go ahead and release it now. We can piggyback off the
I don't think their plan, once Netflix got a hold of it, I don't think the plan was never to release it in April.
That's what I'm saying. It was, they looked at it and said, let's just release it now, piggyback off the Super Bowl. The movie's not great, and we can use that hype to get us subs. Because that's how Netflix doesn't make their money based off us people already purchasing Netflix and watching it.
Right.
They produce new content in hopes that they will get however many new subscribers for a month. And you got to understand, 1 million people that are new that pay $7.99 one time is great. Even if they cancel it the next day, you know, it's $8 in their pocket or $12 depending on which package you end up getting. And Netflix is kind of, because this is a sci-fi month essentially. They came out with Altered Carbon, which was a TV show on Netflix. Then they have Mute at the end of the month, and then Cloverfield at the beginning of the month. And then
which is selective outrage. People love Altered Carbon, which is whitewashed too, but people wanted to bash Ghost in the Shell, but that's another story.
They don't people pick and choose what they want to bash. But it also seems like Netflix is slowly becoming the home for sci-fi. Because Hollywood doesn't seem to want to produce original sci-fi content. They want to bring back something old, Independence Day, etc. And Netflix, Black Mirror, Altered Carbon, Mute in the future here at the end of the month, stuff like that. Netflix is slowly becoming that area for sci-fi, that area for fantasy, because Hollywood just doesn't seem to want to produce that content on a consistent basis.
Right.
We might get one every 5 years from one director, like a Peter Jackson. So Peter Jackson's just like, I retired. Next thing you know, there's no fantasy movies coming out that much.
Well, fantasy movies is coming out like
crazy. not dead zero, but I'm talking about like there's certain directors, if they just don't do it, it just won't happen.
But I disagree about fantasy. That's kind of like a staple.
I'm not talking about fantasy in general. I'm talking about just certain genre type films like that, like sci-fi, etc.
Well, sci-fi always been kind of obscure. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like there's certain directors that make certain types of films. If they were to not do it, there's a good chance you won't see it. But no, it's an interesting state of because I guess you could say that nothing like this has ever happened before, but there's never really been a Netflix around before.
Right.
It's just, I like the fact that Netflix is playing hardball with this stuff. It's like they're really making Hollywood kind of sit back and think about what they invest in, how they invest in it. Is original scripts worth it? Are they not worth it?
I don't think they're playing hardball. I think people are giving Netflix too much credit. I just think Netflix is saying throwing everything at the wall, see what sticks, until casual fans who just because they like something, they think it's good, it appeals to that audience. I'm seeing a big separation because I'm online a lot. I'm on Twitter a lot, and I'm on like films. That's my thing. You know, everybody got their different sports Twitter, black Twitter, film Twitter. I'm the film Twitter. And I'm noticing like anytime critics are critical of a movie that people are a fan of, oh, y'all just don't understand artsy content. Y'all just don't get it. Like I saw one guy online say the Blade Runner movie, oh, the critics just don't get it. The critics just don't get it. They don't appreciate an art house film. The critics, it got an 88 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Critics like that movie.
The people didn't get it, idiot. The people didn't get it. You cannot. What I'm saying is, it's just this thing where just because you like something and your group of people who you follow on Twitter like it, doesn't mean it's audience wide. So what's starting to happen is
your bubble's not
Netflix is killing the it's okay to be critical. It's okay to review something. Netflix is cutting that out. No review. Here, we'll throw it on and let the people decide to like it. That's here and there though, because now you're killing quality. Yes, you're allowing directors and stuff getting visions they haven't made a certain amount of art, but you're also allowing more garbage to come into to be less filtered out. So what I'm trying to say is what Netflix is doing is smart, but
for their business, it's
not as genius or it's not as producer and director driven like these guys are trying to make it out to be. It's business. Netflix is using a business model, just like Hollywood uses a business model. Stop trying to gas Netflix like they just for the artists. No, they're not. They're just like Hollywood.
They are right. You could argue that they are for the artists now, but it's going to get to a point. I promise you, this happens with all companies.
Bro, you don't think Netflix wouldn't want a Star Wars
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all like to drag or MCU? You don't think Netflix wouldn't want a hold of that? They can't get it because it's still making money.
At the end of the
Stop
day,
gassing them like that, bro.
At the end of the day, Netflix will be the guy that says, "No, we're going to do it our way. You're not going to get to do what you want." So you could argue that they're for the artist now, at this very moment in time. In 5-6 years, man, they might not care about what the artist thinks.
If the cinema's dying,
yeah,
and then they start getting these big budget, do you think they gonna care about a Altered Carbon?
They're not gonna want to produce something that doesn't make a return on investment. Right now, Netflix, the way that it's done is they're able to make money based off of hype. You understand? Is like I said, it just takes one person. I think when Bright came out, they gained like 2 million subscribers in 2 months.
Yeah,
which they hadn't done in years. So it's you understand. Even if half those people quit after a month, 8 times a million. You do the math,
right?
You do the math on it. They're making money, and that doesn't even factor in the people who are already paying the money each month. So it's Netflix doesn't release their numbers. So I think there's always that. Are they making money? Are they breaking even? Because there was a rumor a long time ago that they've been losing money year over year.
Right.
But they just came back and announced that we're going to produce this much original content. Then they announced like we're going to release like 50 new anime titles alone. They're going to invest billions of dollars into these movies and these franchises. So, and people are wondering, like, well, they're not making money. They're like, no, they're making money.
They're making money.
A company doesn't publicly announce billions of dollars in investments for a 1-year span with making no money. They don't do that. They're making money. It's interesting to see where Netflix is. They're clearly trying to position themselves as a Disney, as a Sony, as these big production companies. Will they get there? Yet to be seen. It's just that's a matter of time. I think eventually they will. It's a matter of time. But it's just an interesting factor to see. Maybe Netflix goes away from streaming at some point and goes to full on like in theaters.
I don't think so.
I
think they're trying to
kill the cinema.
I'm not intentionally, but they realize that most people sit at home.
Yeah.
So they're trying to market to those people, and that's cool. But what I'm saying is, I'm not one of these people. I'm always for the artists. I've always been like that. You know, we get accustomed to defending the establishment. When Disney does something, well, it's Disney. They're
corporate hills to die on.
Yeah. we as people in a capitalist world, we tend, even if it's indirectly, we tend to defend establishment. I'm not trying to defend Hollywood in this case. What I'm trying to say is Netflix is not for the people. It's not a Robin Hood mentality. We're taking all these artsy films that Hollywood don't like, and we're just giving them to y'all.
They're making it seem that way.
It's making it seem that way because it plays into you people's heads.
Yeah, it plays
but that's
way.
not their intention. They're throwing everything at the wall and see what stick. And a lot of y'all gassed by it. Yeah. Straight up.
Kind of like Deadpool's humor.
A lot of you film fans is gassed by
I'll use Deadpool as an example. People really thought Deadpool was the most hilarious thing to ever grace
I told you, comedy's subjective too. But this is nothing subjective. Well, this is not subjective.
Deadpool's humor is a throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
But that's subjective.
Oh no, I get your point. I'm using that as a very loose.
But a lot of people think Deadpool's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
but it's just an interesting concept for the industry. They have this streaming, a company that doesn't produce anything for the cinema. They produce everything for at-home viewing, and it's just interesting to see them because they didn't. This is technically a Netflix original content, but it's not. They didn't make it. Someone else made it. They bought it, so it's a loose interpretation of original content because it's not really theirs that they made. Legally it's theirs.
Right.
But they didn't make this content. So I wouldn't even say it's their first big budget film. Bright would probably fall under that. And then Mute's right behind it. I'm pretty sure Bright hardly had a bigger budget. Just Will Smith's in it. So Bright probably had the bigger budget. And then you have Mute coming at the end of the month, which should probably be their second foray or third foray because we had Death Note come out beginning of this last year. Yeah. That was trash. But that movie was bad. But no, it's like, you know me, I consume a lot of online content. If we didn't go to the theaters, everything I'd watch would be on the internet. You know? I don't really watch a lot of TV outside of the football season. And then we go to the theaters and then I'm usually on Twitch or I'm on YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, etc. A lot of the stuff I consume is online material content. So it's just interesting to see Netflix start off as this mail DVDs to your house. Mm-hmm. They still have that. They still have that business model of the DVD, but there's people today that are like my brother, 18 years old, probably has no idea that you could get a DVD mailed to you by Netflix. But to him, Netflix is streaming.
They're trying to turn the industry on its head.
That's what I'm saying. It's what's their end game? They're not going to know. I'm just posing this question. We don't know what their end game is. It's just interesting to see them because they're coming at it in a very aggressive manner.
Yeah, and then like you know, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you sound like a corporate puppet, or you fall into the Hollywood. You're falling to the Hollywood thing." But a lot of y'all favorite directors are saying the same thing I'm saying. Yep. Quentin Tarantino saying it. Christopher Nolan saying it. Spielberg saying it. Yep. Scorsese saying it. A lot of y'all people that y'all worship and walk the ground worship the ground they walk on, they're saying the same thing I'm saying. Yeah. Stop gassing yourself. Just because you like Cloverfield Paradox don't mean it's a good movie.
It wasn't a good movie, by the way.
So the point I'm trying to make is that's what Netflix is doing. They're not filtering everything. Yeah. That's what critics are for. I know sometimes critics can be biased. I think the critics are kind of biased to the MCU. I'm not going to lie. But you can't, just because they have a different opinion than you can't say, see, that's why I like Netflix. Because we can cut the middleman. The critics can't bash nothing where people can't watch it. That's a myth.
Yeah.
Because people still, even if a movie's bad, people still go watch it if they like it. Look at 50 Shades Freed. #1 movie at the box office, complete trash. People will still, it still has an audience. The Twilight movies. I haven't read the books, but the movies,
they make money.
They make money. Transformers look how long it took before people start falling off the wagon. Yep. So
they made what, 5 other ones? 4 other ones?
Right. All I'm saying is I think Netflix model is to be anti-Hollywood, anti-big not anti-Hollywood, but anti-big studios. And they're using that platform
to make Hollywood
to gain
again.
hype.
They're trying to make Hollywood great again.
I don't even think they're trying to make Hollywood great.
They're
trying to make it like we're for the people.
Yeah, I mean, so make Hollywood great again.
They're trying to be the Robin Hood to Hollywood's Sheriff of Nottingham,
and they're trying to use the fan base to attract directors and writers. Say, hey, we're the mecca for your original content. Come to us. But here's the deal.
And it is a good avenue. I mean, Duncan Jones, we probably wouldn't see a Mute, which he's a good director, and Mute would probably be a good movie.
Yeah, but that's what I'm not. Keep in mind, we're not trying to bash what Netflix is doing. We're just trying to say, maybe think a little bit before you praise them for what they're doing. And that's like, maybe stop, hold on, because here in 5 years they're not going to be the good friend that you like so much. I'll use a video game comparison. People for the longest time loved EA. They made one little mistake with Battlefront. People now hate EA. And it's always been a love-hate relationship between EA and Activision. For 5 years, Activision's a good guy, and EA is a bad guy. Then it flips roles. Don't be surprised if at some point in time, Hollywood's like, okay, we're going to just nip this in the butt right now and take a different approach. Because these people might want to not produce because they want to make money. Like I said, at the end of the day, you invest millions of dollars. You invest $300 million. You want to at least make 500. Otherwise, what was the point of doing this for 2 years? You know, at a certain point, Hollywood does have the money to be like, okay, we can make original content too, but we have the marketing power to push this a lot harder than you do. So it's just interesting to see that, and I want to see how that develops. This would probably be something that, story-wise, we're going to be watching throughout the life cycle of our podcast. Just right. Not even this year, just this year, next year, in the foreseeable future, because this is something that will change almost month to month, kind of.
Right.
Well, especially if Mute does well, because it's going up against Annihilation, essentially, right? Well,
not going up. I mean,
that's another thing.
Annihilation's being released on Netflix internationally, but it's going to have a U.S. release, so it's not really going up.
So I mean, that's another thing. Netflix is like that. What didn't happen? Production company didn't come to Netflix. Hey, we want to release this.
But I blame that one. I do blame that one on the big studios because they didn't believe in the movie. Now the movie's a lot of these critics are saying it's a sci-fi masterpiece. But they were smart enough to give it a U.S. release. So that's
what I'm saying. It's kind of the same thing like when, for example, a Sony or Microsoft pays an EA for 30 days extra, like early release on DLC. They probably paid that company however much money to make up their cost on a month return so they could have it 30 days early. And Netflix is probably saying, hey, it's going to cost you this much to release this worldwide. You pay us, we'll pay you a little bit more money to cover that. You'll make money on it, and we'll be able to release it worldwide for you, but it has to be streaming on our platform. So it's just interesting things, but I think we'll go ahead. We're at a little bit longer because there was a lot to talk about this week, just in terms of that industry change there, because it's something that's, compelling and interesting there. But we'll keep watching on it. Obviously, we'll be back next week for episode 12 for our Black Panther review. That one probably be a little bit lengthy because I think that's something that we're very excited for,
and everybody else is.
Yeah, so. It's something that we'll kind of dive into and have a lot of fun with it. But other than that, that was episode 11 of this week's podcast. Peace.